Welcome back to another video of Graphic Designers React. Today we're going to be doing another set of NBA logos. All right, let's jump into it. A lot of the comments out there really wanted us to dive into the history of some of these logos, so we're going to give a little bit of history for you guys. Mind you, remember, we're a bunch of graphic designers. We are not NBA fans. I can't even shoot. Yeah, we're not ballers.
I've got a kitchen basketball hoop that hangs from the door.
Yeah. Anyway, again, we are not ballers and you're graphic designers, so these are your honest reactions to these NBA logos. First logo, Orlando Magic. Can you have too many stars?
Yeah, no doubt about it. You definitely can. They definitely don't need the ones coming off the basketball, you know?
Yeah.
And both A's are replaced with the star.
What kind of method did they have to putting those stars coming off? Or did they just click and drag?
Yeah. Option click, option click.
I like that better.
Dang, I like that better.
That one gives me Disney Mickey Mouse.
That definitely, yeah.
I gotta see that.
Very.
Why?
Why?
It's because they're by Disney World, and that's why they're the Magic.
Oh, that makes so much sense.
That does make a lot of sense.
They're right next to Disney, so that makes sense why it gives me Mickey Mouse vibe.
Yeah, interesting.
That would have been good background.
I don't think they needed to do 2 stars.
No, they
I
definitely.
think 1 star.
Yeah.
It's not usually my favorite thing when they put a shape in for a letter. Sometimes it's just weird to read. Maybe if it was blue and like matched, maybe it'd be make a little bit more sense.
Also almost looks like an O, you know, like magic.
Logic. One thing I noticed right away is inside the G, there's a white space, which, and I've seen this, like, you know, you add a stroke to something. I like to go in and fill that stuff, but sometimes you fill it in and it looks weird. Sometimes you leave it blocked out and it looks weird.
I like the typeface.
Yeah.
Typeface is a lot better.
A lot better improvement.
That's true, yeah. Yeah, there's like no stars now.
It's funny, all of the suggestions we've thought of as we've gone have been implemented.
Yeah, we're getting there. Yeah, that basketball thing looks a little weirder with this version. I feel like it worked better with the last ones.
Yeah, it looks a little out of place.
I feel like they could have maybe simplified it a little bit.
This is the new one. I know it's, I actually measured it, but I think it's all fine. The O looks taller than the rest of the letters, it's like wrapped around, but it looks fine. The O just makes it look like it's off a little bit. I always wonder how the decision making goes when
it's around like that.
No, the circle comes into the star on the top left, and they kept the circle shape instead of
the sharp,
star shape.
You kind of read them weird, right?
Yeah,
you're reading
Orlando
this way
and Magic, and then this way.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's backwards.
We're gonna be ranking the most recent logo. So, what do you guys think of this logo? Give us your ranking on that one, and in the comments down below, we also want to know how you guys rank this logo.
Let's see it. Yeah, I gave it a 5. I feel like a lot of these teams are going to this circle, but it looks like they're trying to like create this unique shape, but also keep it circle. And I feel like they're kind of competing. I feel like there's not enough of kind of this abstract shape on the left-hand side like, I feel like that circle is just kind of overpowering it.
Well, I had different thoughts. I gave it an 8. I went pretty high. I don't know. I think it captures everything it sets out to do. You know, it's got movement. Colors are the same. You know, it's very recognizable, very easy to look at and know what's going on. I mean, I didn't give it a 10 because obviously it needs work, but yeah. I still think as itself, standalone, that, I mean, I'd wear it. Yes, Atlanta Hawks. Oish. These guys have been through it. A lot of changes here. Originally, they were called the Tri-Cities Blackhawks.
This is their old logo.
This is when they became the Atlanta Hawks. This was the first as the Atlanta Hawks.
Okay.
Because they went Tri-City Blackhawks, they went Milwaukee Hawks, St. Louis Hawks, now they're the Atlanta Hawks. So
basketball.
I know, very mascot-y. Yeah, the basketball stands out so much. I like this one.
It looks off. It's like they didn't know how to draw a basketball.
Oh, no, you're right, yeah. It doesn't look like a basketball.
Did they wear knee pads in the NBA back in the day? This guy's got some
I know
pads
he's got knee
on.
pads on, yeah. But he doesn't have shoes on.
Did they wear knee pads?
No,
Hey, let us know in the comments. We don't know anything about that, but
Heck, I'd wear knee pads if I was playing basketball.
This one's from the 70s, I believe, yeah.
Okay.
70, like 1973. Every time I hear it described, it's described as overcorrected. Like, it's like they just wanted something drastically different, and they just did not hit the mark yet.
In like the opposite colors.
That Volt Green is just horrible. Like,
It's like burns your retinas.
yeah.
I'm getting like a retro post office vibe.
Yeah. It
Post
does
office
not.
was like sick.
Yeah. I don't mind this one. It looks like the Stranger Things font, I just realized. But this one, I feel like was very, like obviously drastic change from the other one. It's still just the head. This one, I feel like set a new, like just style that they were going for. Moving on, well, I mean, you won't see it in the next one, but the final one, you'll see it in.
All right.
There's that one.
Dang.
I like that update.
Yeah, I think they're getting somewhere with the fact, the idea of putting the basketball in the talent is really cool.
Yeah, and it looks more competitive. It looks fiercer.
I didn't realize how many A's are in it.
That's true, yeah.
They
And
like
hops.
added the beak to the A, which is
yeah,
cool.
Yeah,
Um,
that too.
But then you see it repeated like
Yeah,
more time.
I know. They could have probably just
Kinda-
done it in that first A.
Yeah, it kind of loses the sparkle.
This was probably my favorite version. I think the colors work very well. I would have got rid of like where it's grabbing the basketball though, you know? I think that looks kind of out of place and just interesting. Doesn't
Yeah,
add to it at all.
Interesting.
But I like the colors. I think it stands out a lot. The new font I think looks great.
I like the colors a lot, and then I think what's throwing me off is little arrows where
The
he's
towel.
grabbing.
That's
the
what I'm saying. That's if they got rid of that, they just feel out of place.
Even those white ones in the wings to like maybe don't need. It's also got some really big toes.
That's the forced perspective, man.
Is it? Could have forced that a little more.
This one with the back to the seal, the circle logo. You'll notice there isn't a basketball in it.
Take them back. You look harder.
Is this the
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Is this the newest one?
This is the newest one.
Oh,
So they rebranded like this for 5 years, and then they just like
Yeah, I definitely like the older font better.
Yeah, I agree.
so this is the new font.
This is the new one right here.
That's new. Oh no.
So they had this font, they had new jerseys, and they're pretty cool, I thought. And then they rebranded to this, so this font is like old school.
It's supposed to be a little more retro of a font.
Yeah, I would stick with the other one
For sure.
just because it's way more custom.
Yeah, there's a lot less negative space that you have to look at. And not that every space has to be filled, but it just feels unbalanced on the other one.
I get East High School Musical.
Yeah.
My ears are scared and the baby ostrich is cold. And now that makes you feel like you know karate.
The red and just using a college font is very
Yeah,
basic.
college block for sure.
One improvement I would say is the original kind of Hawk logo that was like this was very, very bold.
Yeah.
Like,
It's also very flat. There wasn't a whole lot of dimension there.
I feel like they've balanced it out really well.
I would say so.
Let's rank it. I give it a 7, just because I think it's very sharp. It's very balanced, and I do love that about logos when it's very balanced from it. I think there's going to be a lot of people in the comments saying like, "Oh man, it had so much character in the last logos." From a printer's perspective, I think it is a lot easier to market that one.
I felt like those older logos definitely had some character, but they all kind of look stone-faced. Like, so I feel like kind of getting away from these like stiff-looking birds and kind of going to something more of like an icon, and also too that they kind of went back to like a classic, you know, logo. I think maybe helps it a little bit for me. So have you guys seen any other logos in the NBA league that are kind of like this?
Nope.
Honestly, I have never seen. I've never seen a logo like that.
Right.
It's like a headphone logo.
That's what I was gonna say.
There's not a whole lot of logos in the NBA like this. Like, this is probably one of the only ones that's not like a mascot or like a basketball or a mixture of the two. And I kind of learned a little bit about this one, and I guess the reason for the 5 lines in black and in red is it's 5 defenders and 5 offenders, like players, coming together like in the middle of a court.
And high five.
It's kind of the idea. So this is kind of the one they rebranded to from their original, you know, very kind of 90s it feels like to me. You know, you kind of have that like outline on the Trailblazers bottom. And then I think this is their newest one here.
Oh yeah, wow.
So big upgrade on the type.
I like what you said, the idea of like why they have the 5 lines. I think that's a very unique.
Yeah, very neat take on basketball.
Everyone's got like a mascot, an animal, or an icon of some sort where they have like an idea. I can imagine their like team unity would be super good.
Yeah, super tight knit. I think if it were me, I'd try to get that red in there somewhere else too. You know, there's a lot of white and black and just that spot for red.
I wish there was like another way to maybe explain what a Trailblazer is.
I think one way you could do it might be kind of cool is, what if you made one line in there red on the opposite side, one line on the other
Oh yeah,
white
kinda
to
cool.
indicate trailblazing, but I think that would probably make it look like, oh, there's one person on the team.
Yeah, it might
that's different
confuse
than
the
rest.
It is interesting though, because like, how many of their fans do you think know what those 5 lines represent? I mean, I only know this because I looked it up. Hey, anybody in the chat know that these 10 lines represent the 10 players on the court? And did anybody know that beforehand?
And give it an 8. I like the uniqueness of it. I think it's very cool. I can see some very cool jerseys with stripes.
Yeah.
A really cool pattern. There's a few tweaks I think you can make into it to make it more the type more unique. But yeah, overall I do like the idea of it, and I like the icon.
Oh yes, the Sacramento Kings.
Man, I don't know that they knew how to draw basketball.
Back in the day.
I'm curious to what their process was back then, because this has got to be like 70s.
Yeah, that one
too, right?
That one's pretty
Yeah,
old.
like what software did they use back then? But that basketball's so off. Like the
Yeah, I know.
lines
There's a lot. It's very rough. There's not
super rough.
intricate or anything.
The logo's been the same.
Yeah,
but they
except
changed
for-
the city on the top.
Yep.
Okay.
It used to be Cincinnati Royals, you know, Kansas City Kings, but they still used that red and that blue basketball mountains crown. Like, all that was still there, just
Okay.
with Cincinnati and Kansas instead of Sacramento.
It's funny, you start looking at the crown long enough and you start to lose the shape a little bit. Like those little lines that come through that kind of make it look like mountains. Like I start looking at those as individual shapes, which it's a very abstract shape,
Oh
you
yeah.
know?
Yeah, it looks like a bunch of diagonal like squares.
Yeah, like almost like skyscrapers that are louder.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Here's this one. I think it's an improvement on that one. I'm not gonna lie, there's a little bit more there, a little bit more unique, I think. Kings is very easily legible.
I like the change to purple too. You think of purple, you think of like royalty.
Yeah,
and-
loyalty for sure.
And it like works pretty good that way. And the crest kind of look also matches like a king a lot better.
Are those jousting?
I'm pretty sure.
What are those called? Jousting.
Land. It is a lance, yes. It's called a lance. Hello.
It's called a lance. Hello.
So they basically went back. You may notice the basketball looks a little better though.
And the buildings look like they're falling over even more.
Now the shapes that you mentioned pop out so much.
Yeah, that's all you can see now.
Like even worse now.
Yeah, it's way worse.
But yeah, I was like reading a bunch of stuff and it was just, they were all talking about how this is just a throwback. Like they went through all these sketches and stuff and this is the conclusion that they came to with it.
I wonder what changed in the NBA where they thought like, yo, these logos are too much. Like,
I know. They flattened it a lot. I think they downgraded a little bit.
They kept the purple.
Yeah, the purple's good.
The basketball looks better
Yeah.
than the old.
So basketball's better. Say what you will, hate on me in the comments, but I definitely think they downgraded.
Let's rank it. Give it a 5.
5.
I went 4. I went kind of low. Definitely potential there, just not quite reached.
There's some good upgrades, you know, from the classic one. Like obviously the typefaces, you know, are a little bit more modern, a lot easier to read.
All right, Houston Rockets. You guys are gonna love this.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Reminds me of like a cartoon you'd see in a like a newspaper.
Yeah.
It's kind of sick.
Do you know what people reference this to? ketchup and mustard.
Ah. How did they come to that conclusion?
Huh.
All right, so they call that little guy Dunkster Not.
That's kind of legit.
But they ditched it, which is very sad. There's a lot of rebrands. These guys went through a lot of rebrands.
Wow.
That is definitely a different route. They kept the mustard and the red. The T throws me off on that one. I never like G's that look like backwards J's.
I don't like the black letters that like go over that line.
Right.
You know?
Bummer.
Yeah, it looks weird.
Yeah.
As far as like the shape of that one goes, though, like it is a little bit more interesting.
Looks like a hamburger.
Really like that mustard.
This is a tasty burger.
Very different. This is still an old logo.
Yeah.
Still an
I like that rocket though.
Before I looked at them, I had an idea in my head. I'm like, man, it'd be so cool if like the Rockets did like a stream the shape of the basketball around a planet, and I thought that was cool. And then I saw that, and I'm like, oh, I've never seen this logo before.
Oh yeah.
Makes it
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, like the rings of Saturn or something almost.
And you can kind of see the Rocket's trail, like he's gone all around the ball, and that kind of makes
the lines on the basketball.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very cool. I think the shark teeth on it is kind of funny. It definitely screams 90s. It's like Space Jam. I think they could have gone with a different type
It looks out of place.
because it looks more medieval.
Yeah, it does look medieval instead of more futuristic.
Yep. And then they changed it to this.
The typeface on this looks like it was image traced.
Yeah, it does actually.
It looks terrible.
Yeah. Also the lines for the rocket.
Yeah,
on the
it
bottom.
looks like a like blood dripping. That's why it looks like a vampire.
Well, if you look at it, on the left of the R is a rocket.
And a circle around it is like the sonic boom.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It looks like Blade the vampire hunter in the 90s. That's what it looks like.
It does. It does. If you know anything about the artist, you'll know her style, and it is very much like that. I'm gonna butcher her name, but it's like Iko Ishoka. She's been around for a while. I think she did like a movie or something. She's an artist. Anyway, yeah, her style is definitely that like blood dripping kind of style. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's their current one. They added a basketball.
I knew it was missing something.
They fixed that janky typeface.
Yeah.
Houston, we have a problem with this banner. It's too thin. Like it's like paper thin banner around this big, thick basketball. Maybe some more depth, but maybe they are trying to go for this more flat look. It seems like a lot of teams are, but I think it just freaks me out a little bit that like ribbon that it's on is so thin.
All right, ranking the logo, the current logo, I'm gonna give it a 4.
I'm going 7.
Dang, you like the bloody little.
I do, yeah.
The bloody ah.
And maybe it's just like I'm a little biased, but growing up, I always liked Yao Ming, and I always thought their like R logo was really cool. I like the look of like the black basketball. You know, obviously there's a few things I would probably change, but probably take off the white stroke. That's all kind of a little bit around like the R, but
I think there's a lot of opportunity for this logo. I think the rocket right now is just so bland. I think they could do something really cool with it. I like the concept though of having a rocket. There's just so many cool things you can do with a rocket.
the Detroit Pistons.
All right.
This is like some of their original stuff, you know. I don't remember exactly when it came out, but obviously very early on. And then they kind of moved to this, cleaned everything up. But yeah, pretty basic, you know. It doesn't really scream like car manufacturer. I mean, maybe, I guess, if it was like a car brand.
I think the colors kind of do a little bit.
Right,
You know?
red, white, and blue. And maybe it's supposed to represent a car taillight or maybe something. I don't know. I'm not really sure. So this one
Whoa.
is an in-betweener, which is pretty sick.
That is so cool. Oh my gosh. You're telling me that's not the new one? No.
I feel like there's a lot going on in the horse, you know, they could have simplified. I think like the kind of yellow throughout the text is actually kind of sick. Like it makes it look like it's chrome.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so cool.
Sweet exhaust, man.
The exhaust is dope.
Please don't tell me they like.
fire's a little bit weird. So they only had that 2-1 for a minute. Then they switched to their original colors,
I like those colors more.
which a lot of people did, at least what I read and found in Reddit. But I kind of like the teal more. I feel like the other one is like the red and the blue are too bright together. Like they.
Okay. Yeah, I guess you could say. I changed my mind. I like teal colors, but they both look so good.
So cool, huh? It's just like, it's pretty cool. And then they moved to this one, which was a little bit more of a homage back to their other one.
Okay.
They figured out how to draw the basketball.
Yeah,
They don't know how to write S's.
No, that S, yeah, I was gonna mention that. And like a lot of the new logos, they went back to something old and flat.
That's it.
That's the newest one.
No.
Right.
Yep.
And they have the ugly S's.
Yep.
Oh my god.
And yeah, they went back to their original basketball drawing.
Bring
which
back the
again,
horse.
maybe it's something else. Maybe it's supposed to be the court. Not sure.
No way, dude. That's horrible. That's so sad. Oh, I love the horse logo.
It feels like a cop-out to go back to these old logos. Like, I understand it's nostalgic, and maybe that's the cop-out part of it.
That's definitely. Everybody's
like-
about the nostalgia now.
Yeah, and every team is just really just flattening it, and maybe it's easier to market, maybe it's easier for people to doodle, and maybe that's why they're doing it. But it's just not very menacing to the other teams. Like,
They need to make a balance of like
marketability.
Yeah. Right now, everything's just super easy to print, put on your Instagram photo, your, what is that called? The Instagram profile pic. You know, it's all easy for that, but there just needs to be a balance because it was so cool. It's so cool. All right, let's rank it, guys. Gave it a 1. You knew it was coming. Like, you knew it was coming. Just, yeah, everybody's gonna come at me and it's gonna just the S's are driving me crazy. It's just no character. It just lost it all. What'd you guys give it?
I give it a 4.
4?
Like 5. Pretty middle ground.
Okay.
Like from the original, like I can see like a bit of the improvements, like, you know, it's a little bit easier to read. I think it's maybe like a very balanced, but it's just boring.
Indiana Pacers.
That looks like a tennis ball.
Dude, that's what I thought, dude.
Like a tennis ball.
You know,
right.
I said it again. I
Said it once, so
said it again. They did not know how to draw basketballs.
Almost the same colors as the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah, true. Major upgrade.
I think that's very cool.
And I loved where they went with this.
Yeah.
It's a lot better.
They nailed it, yeah.
Anything I'd probably change is probably the Pacers underneath it.
Yeah.
So Indiana Pacers, super cool team. The reason why they had the stripes is to reference speed and racing because of the Indiana. They knew the Indy 500.
Yes.
I think it pays homage to the state. I saw a couple of fan-made court designs, and they had like checkered stuff on.
Oh, man.
And I thought, man, they should do that. I wish they would do some cool jerseys that are
Checkered.
like some sort of checkered.
That'd be so
theme.
cool.
I don't know, it'd be so cool. But they actually don't use like any checkered pattern.
Huh.
Maybe one of their like city edition jerseys have had the checkers on it.
Really?
I know the just general branding doesn't have the checkers on it.
It kind of looks like a car or like a racing logo. And I think like something that could maybe be cool is like, I think of like those old car logos where it's like a tire with like wings or something.
Oh, yeah.
Just to kind of lean more into that like racing feel, like something kind of like that could be cool rather than maybe just like doing a circle and plopping it right in the middle.
Yeah.
Like,
Let's see what you guys gave it. All right. I give it a 9.
hey, give this
Solid. Give it a 7.
Yeah.
All right. What did you not like?
I just
7.
hate that all these new rebrands is just a circle with their logo placed right in the center. Like, it's so lazy.
No, I can see where you're coming from, but I think it's a good balance of using what it represents, and it has a good balance of what it represents from the state. I like the colors.
I like that they didn't just drop the P completely and put the basketball by itself in the circle. You know, they still kept that P.
I don't know. You have like, I just imagine this whole team of people like designing logos for the NBA and like, sure, make a circle one for your social media, but don't make the whole branding around that, you know, like you can make different images for different applications.
Yeah, for sure.
I just think having the main logo being this weird circle with like a P that doesn't even fit inside the circle that well is kind of boring.
Whoa,
Memphis Grizzlies, scary.
I love the slashes
Yeah.
and Grizzlies. The font for it too. I mean, it does look a little bit like Metallica. The bear is oddly shaped.
Yeah.
Just crush them down.
It is a little oddly shaped, and this one was designed pretty like early on. There's actually one before this when they were in somewhere in Canada, Toronto, Vancouver. But yeah, they kind of had like, I don't know, their heads I feel like were in like the right place. You know, they're creating this like menacing kind of thing. We're the Grizzlies, rawr. Which I think, you know, you should have, like, you know, add a little bit of ferocity to your team. And this is what they've moved on to.
This is the current.
Almost the current. They have one more after this, but
Okay.
it's
No, that's the new one.
that's the new one.
No.
And from what I understand is they moved to this to make something that was easier to reproduce and more marketable. What bothers me is like, okay, maybe their other logo was a little much, a little hard to reproduce, but it was scary. And they've just moved to this thing that is not scary at all.
No.
Like, sure, he's got angry eyes, but he doesn't even have teeth. Like
Your stone face stink from the eye.
yeah, he looks more disappointed.
Yeah,
than he does.
Riley, he does. I'm not mad, I'm just...
He's like, oh, I can't believe you came home after midnight again.
Dang. Oh man, I wish they would go back.
Yeah, that's tough to swallow.
And again, it's just your boring mascot logo.
Coaching stuff.
Yeah, I like the
Other changes fine.
I wish they would just update the old one.
I agree.
Yeah.
Bring back. I think you guys like the colors for the most
Oh,
part,
yeah.
but I like the
No, the old colors were way better. That red and that like turquoise color. That's
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Especially with that brown. Ah, like so cool.
And then the other thing is like, and I know there's a lot of stuff out there that's like this, but putting that thin line throughout the text is kind of, I don't know, just not my favorite.
Let's rank it. Give it a 1.
Ones across the
We all
board.
give it 1s.
I just feel like they took all of the like scariness and kind of like of a grizzly out of it and just gave us this weird
Yeah.
upset teddy bear.
Weird dad bear.
Anyway, thanks you guys for watching. Had a great time reacting to these logos. There was a lot of great ones, a lot of bad ones.
Lost some disappointments there.
For sure. We'd love to hear what you guys think about what we said and what our thoughts on it. We'd also just like to hear your thoughts generally on what you guys think is good, better, best. If there's any NBA logos we missed, please let us know in the comments what you guys think.
Yeah, do you guys like the way that the NBA is going with kind of like going back to these older logos or kind of like making things more minimalist, or do you kind of like the flair and the bang of kind of the old stuff? I certainly like the older stuff.
Yeah, I think the 90s did it right.
Yeah, but we're interested in what you guys think.
And don't forget to like and subscribe. It definitely makes it worth it for us making these videos. We enjoy making these videos so much, so please like and subscribe.